Right, people. So, The Outlaws, right? This is a new Netflix original, right? A Happy Madison production. It is directed by Tyler Spindel and written by Evan Turner and Ben Zazove. Right, the film is produced by Adam Sandler, Adam Devine, and Alan Covert. Co-produced by Brandon Conya and Ellie Thomas. Executive produced by Ben Ormond, Brendan O'Brien, Isaac Horn, and Barry Bernardi. Associate produced by Crystal Dowd. Robert Gregson Williams handles the music. Michael Bonvillain, cinematography. It's edited by Ian Kesbourne and Philip Kimsey. Sydney Shercliffe and Mary Venu handled the casting. Joe Billington, production design. Art direction is from Jenny Mola and Lisa Vasconelios. Christy Thompson is set decoration. Costume design is Jordana Feinberg. Okay, so our cast. Well, people. Adam Devine is Owen Browning, and his fiance is Parker McDormand, played by Nina Dobrev. Right? Owen's parents are Neil and Margie. Neil is played by Richard King. Margie is played by Julie Haggerty. And Parker's parents are Billy and Lily. Billy is played by Pierce Brosnan. Lily is played by Ellen Barkin. We have got Tyree, who is the security guard at the bank, played by Lil Ray Howery, and Marisol, she's a cashier at the bank, played by Lacey Mosley. Right. We have got Gary, who also works at a bank, played by Dan Jablons. Right, there is Owen's cousin RJ, played by Blake Anderson. There's Agent Oldham, played by Michael Roker. Zihan Zakarian, she is played by Porna Jaganathan. Phoebe King, right, the other bank manager at the big bank, that everyone's looking up to, is played by Lauren Lapkus. Grandma Ruth is played by Peggy Walton-Walker. Boris is played by Mo Galliani. Kay is played by Jackie Sandler. Gracie is played by Sonny Sandler. That's probably our main lot of people. Now, the gist of the story is this: a straight-laced bank manager about to marry the love of his life when his bank is held up by infamous Ghost Bandits during his wedding week. He believes his future in-laws, who just arrived in town, are the infamous Outlaws. So, yes, there we go. And people, I think this film, I think it's for people that like over the top, ridiculous, silly comedy. There's Adam Devine. For me, he's kind of that early Jim Carrey, the Mask, Ace Ventura Day, Jim Carrey. I hated that Jim Carrey. I like Eternal Sunshine, Truman Show, Jim Carrey. That's the Carrey I like. That the over the top stuff, not so much. That's not really for me. But if that's you, boom, you will possibly dig this. For me, there's just a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on. Firstly, right, just the relationship, because we open up with Owen has created this wedding plan using toys, which, you know, I think that really tells you a lot about what we're doing. And then just who Owen has chosen to represent him. Right? But I don't know, I wasn't sold on the relationship, right? The chemistry. And I think that's a big thing in this film. The chemistry just seems all over the place, right? You've got Owen's parents, and with that, you've just got this ridiculous thing, right? Of, oh, she's a yoga instructor, but we think she's a stripper, right? And that's this supposed joke that goes on for so long, just so long, because you're just like, I feel most people know what yoga is. You're not mistaking yoga and stripping, right? I think if you really wanted to do that kind of thing, you would say she's a masseuse, right? And then they could be like, oh, how many happy endings does she give, right? But yoga and stripping, no one's mixing that up, right? So it's just one of those things that was there constantly and just wasn't funny, you know? And there was a lot of that, a lot of these supposed jokes like, oh, uh, she slaps him on the arse. Parker slaps Owen on the arse, and he's like, oh, I don't like my tushy being touched. Firstly, who the fuck says tushy, man? Who says tushy? No one's saying tushy. Come on. Like, this is a little kid shit, right? A grown person isn't saying that. Come on, right? So there's that. But just the whole, like, Pierce Bronson's Scottish accent is, I think it's Scottish, maybe it's meant to be Irish. It's dreadful. Either way, it's dreadful. Right? They obviously throw in a James Bond joke, which, not good. Like the name of the bandit, the Ghost Bandits. Ghost Bandits would imply people kind of have broken in and you don't really know. These people in through the front door, guns blazing, well, not shooting people, but I mean waving around guns, being like, we're holding, there's nothing ghost about what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's just like, wait, what are we talking about here? Right? So it's just this kind of stupidness, right? And then just the parents, right? Parker's parents in general, right? It is how we're introduced to them, and just everything else makes no sense, right? If you like you have Owen suspecting having this fault, but he's telling everyone. You're not telling everyone, right? This is the thing. If you think this thing, maybe there's someone, a best friend who might confide in, but he's just telling everyone, which is just like, it makes no sense. Like everything is just too over the top. It's just too ridiculous. And then obviously, right, you have someone that's scared, just useless, drops things, you know, all of this, jumps at his own shadow. but then we're meant to believe that they're gonna be able to do this other stuff. And then you're just like, what? Right? There's a bank manager who is talking about her nipples and fucking and just all in a normal conversation, and you're just like, people don't talk like what a, it was just too much, right? They're trying to throw in all of these jokes and this style of film and this style of film and this and blah 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 blah, and it's not cohesive. Right? The action scenes do not work in this film, but it's like it doesn't need to be an action film, right? It doesn't need to be an action film. The people doing the action, we do not believe that those people in this context would do any of this. You know, so there's just all of this that for me meant it didn't work. But as I said, people at the top, if you like that over the top kind of humor, that Ace Venturas kind of thing, then I think this could possibly work for you. You know? Eh, like the cop. Ugh. It's like makes no sense. Because the way everything's getting approached, you'd be like, wait, you have no jurisdiction. These people wouldn't have to do anything you're saying. Like, oh, and the way it ended, hated it, hated it, hated it, hated it, hated it. I mean, yeah, people, I'm not watching it again, but you might want to watch it again. If you like over the top humor, you might like this. And it's funny because I liked The Wrong Missy. I chuckled a lot. This, I didn't laugh once, right? And the Wrong Missy was kind of over the top and all of that. But for me, that worked better than The Outlaw. The Outlaws, The Out In Laws, the Jesus Christ. This film, right? The Outlaws. Yeah. Why did that sound wrong when I said it? I don't even know. People. Right. Look, it's on Netflix. So if you want to give it a shot, you can. All right. The Outlaws.